بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى. إن إلى ربك الرجعى. أرأيت الذي ينهى أبدا إذا الصلاة. أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمرا بالتقوى. أرأيت إن كذب وتولى. أن لم يعلم بأن الله برأى. كلا لئن لم ينتهى لنسفعا نسية كاذبة خاطئة فليدع ناديا سندع زبانية. كلا لا تطيعه واسجد واقترب. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In the previous video, we have seen about the revelation of Islam, how the revelation have started to Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this video, we are going to learn about how the early days of the Islam, how the things were going in the early days of Islam, how it will happen. That we are going to learn in this video. So when Islam revealed for the first time, after revelation, Prophet Muhammad gone straight to his wife Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, and very soon she accepted the Islam and she take him to Warqa bin Nawfal. That the complete story we have already seen in the revelation of Islam. So after that, the early humans who have converted to Islam and accepted the Islam, that was Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, Warqa bin Nawfal, Hazrat Abu Bakr, Hazrat Umar, Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anha. These are some of the early Muslims who are converted to Islam. But what happened? In the starting days of the Islam, Prophet Muhammad used to convey the message of peace, convey the message of Allah in secretly. He used to convey secretly the message of Allah to the people, because the people of Makkah, who were the ruler of Makkah at that time, they did not like Prophet Muhammad to spread the message of peace openly. They tortured the people who got accept Islam at that time, especially Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anha. Because Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anha, at that time he was a slave. He was a slave at that time. So when his master got to know that Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anha accepted the Islam, he used to beat him. He used to beat him, and he used to, in the afternoon time when the sun is exactly above the head, doesn't mean that exactly, maybe sometimes somewhere it can be down and up, it's not, it doesn't matter, but at that time of hotness of the day, he used to remove the cloth of Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anha, and he used to lie him under the sun, and use and the hot stones of the day, he used to pick the hot stones of the day and put on the body of Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala. When Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala know about this, what he does, he purchased Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala in the amount as much as the masters wanted. And in that amount, he purchased Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala and free him. These things were continuously going on. Even Hazrat Ammar radiallahu ta'ala mother of Hazrat Ammar radiallahu ta'ala, that is Hazrat Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala, She is the first martyr of the Islam, whom the people of Makkah has killed. Because just for a reason that she accepts the Islam. Only for that reason. They have killed her. So after that, the Prophet Muhammad used to convey the message of peace in secretly. He used to convey the message of peace till Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha accepted the Islam. When Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha accepted Islam, he takes the Muslim out and he open then the Muslim openly prayed the namaz. He openly tell everyone that I have accepted the Islam, and they openly uh, prayed namaz, and then they openly prayed namaz and convey the message of peace openly after that. So the story of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha accepting Islam is written in not in the Hadith or in the Quran. So the only thing is written in the Hadith that when Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha accepted Islam, what happened? Uh, People of Makkah came to fight with him. So one man came to protect him, and after that, the man has protected Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha, and the people of Makkah gone away from them. So the complete story will be we will see the complete story that is not under any hadith or Quran, that is come from the historical books. The name of the book is Ibn Hisham. It's written by Ibn Hisham, Sirat of Rasulullah. So whenever I will give you any reference with the historical book, and you maybe you have already listened the story, and that can be slightly different from that you have here or I am here telling you. So that does not mean the story which you have heard is wrong and which I am telling is correct, or the story which I am telling is wrong and which you have heard is correct. It does not mean like that, because historical books can be slightly different. But whenever I will give you any reference from the Quran or Hadith, it should be 100% correct without any doubt. Because Quran says that this is the book which is 100% true. There is no chance of even any doubt in this book. Quran clearly says that there is no chance of any doubt in this book. This is 100% true. So the story I will exactly read word to word. So I haven't interrupted anything in the story and I haven't changed anything in the story. I'm reading exactly word to word, so you should know that it's completely true. Okay, because I am not changing any word from the story. I'm exactly quoting how it's written on the book, so that you should know that the story is completely true. So the story starts with when Amr and Abdullah came to Quraysh, not have been able to bring back the Prophet's companion, and having received a sharp rebuff from the Negus, and when Umar became a Muslim, he being a strong, stubborn man whose proteges none dare back to Prophet companion, stubborn man who protects none dark attack. The Prophet companion was so fortified by him and Hamza that they got the upper hand of Quraysh. Abdullah bin Mas'ud used to say, we could not pray at the Kaaba until Umar became a Muslim. And then he fought the Quraysh until he could pray there, and we prayed with him. Umar became a Muslim after the Prophet's companion had migrated to Abyssinia. Uh, Misar bin Qidam from Saad bin Ibrahim said that Abdullah bin Masud said Umar's conversion to Islam was a victory. His migration to Medina was a help, and his government was a divine mercy. We could not pray at Kaaba until he became a Muslim. And when he did, so he fought the Quraysh until he could pray there, and we joined him. Abdul Rahman bin Al Harith bin Abdullah bin Ayash bin Abu Rabia from Abdul Aziz bin Abdullah bin Amir bin Rabia from his mother Umme Abdullah bin Abu Hatma, who said, we were on the point of setting out for Abyssinia, and Amir had gone out from something we needed. When Umar came and stopped beside me, he being a polytheist at that time, and we were receiving harsh treatment and affection from him, He said, "So you are of, O mother of Abdullah." Yes, I said, "We are going to God's country. You have violently ill treated us until God has given us a way out." He said, "God be with you." And I say, I saw in him a compassion in which I had never seen before. Then he went away, and I could see plainly that our departure pained him. And when Amir came back with the thing he needed, I I said to him, uh, he needed. I said to him, "O father of Abdullah, I wish you have seen Umar just now, and the companion and sorrow he showed on our account when he asked me if I had hopes of his becoming a Muslim." I replied that I had to be wish to which he answered, "The man you saw will not become a Muslim until Al Khattab donkey does." This he said in despair of him because of his harshness and severity against Muslim. The Islam of Umar, so I have heard, was on this wise. His sister was Fatima bint al-Khattab, Fatima bint al-Khattab, and was married to Sayyid bin Zaid bin Amr bin Nafil, both of whom had become Muslim and concealed the fact from Umar. Now Nu'aym bin Abdullah al-Ham, a man of his tribe from from Adia Kab, had become a Muslim, and he also concealed the fact out of fear of his people. Habib al-Arad used to often come to the Fatima to read Quran to her. To it. One day, Umar came, girl with his came out, get with his sword, got with his sword, making for the apostle, and a number of his companions who he had been informed had gathered in a house at Al Safa. In all, about 40, including women, with the apostle was his uncle Hamza and Abu Bakr and Ali from among the Muslims who stayed with the apostle and had not gone out with those who went to Abyssinia. Mm, Not gone out of. Neom met him and asked him where he was going. "I am making for Muhammad, the apostle who has split up the Quraysh, made mockery of their tradition, insulted their faith and their gods to kill him. You deceive yourself." "Umar," he answered, "do you suppose that um, Abdul Manaf will allow you to continue walking upon the earth when you have killed Muhammad? Had not you better go back to your own family and set their affairs in order?" "What is the matter with my family?" he said. Your brother-in-law, your nephew Said, and your sister Fatima have become Muslim and followed Muhammad in his religion, so you had better go and deal with them." Thereupon Umar returned to his sister and brother-in-law at the same time when Khabbab was with them with the manuscript of Taha, which he was reading to them. When they heard Umar's voice, Khabbab hid in a small room or in a part of the house, and Fatima took the page and put it under her thigh. Now Umar had heard the reading of Khabbab as he came near to the house. So when he came in, he said, "What is the Baldada I heard?" "You have not heard anything," they answered. "By God, I have," he said. "And I have been told that you have followed Muhammad in his religion." And he seized his brother-in-law Said, and his sister Fatima rose in defense of her husband, and he hit her and wounded her. When he did that, they said to him, "Yes, we are Muslim, and we believed in God and his apostle, and you can't do what you like." When Umar saw the blood on his sister, he was sorry for what he had done and turned back and said to his sister, "Give me this sheet which I hear you reading just now, so that I may see just what it is which Muhammad has brought." for Umar could write. When he said that, his sister replied that she was afraid to trust him with "Do not be afraid," he said, and he swore by his God that he would return it when he had read it. When he said that she had hopes that he will become a Muslim and said to him, "My brother, you are unclean in your polytheism, and only the clean may touch it." So Umar rose and washed himself, and she gave him the page in which was Taha. And when he had read the beginning, he said, "How fine and noble is this speech." When he heard that, Khabbab emerged and said, "O Umar, by God, I hope that God has signed you out by his prophet's call. For but last night I hope that God has signed you out by his prophet's call. For but last night I heard him saying, O God, strengthen Islam by Abu al Hakim bin Hisham or by Umar bin al Khattab. Come to God, come to God, O Umar." At that, Umar said, "Lead me to Muhammad so that I may accept Islam." Khabbab replied that he was in house at Al Safa with a number of his companions. So Umar took his sword and got on it and made for the apostle and his companion and knocked on the door. When they heard his voice, one of the companions get up and looked through a chink in the door, and when he saw him get with his sword, he went back to the apostle in fear and said, "It is Umar with his sword on." Hamza said, "Let him in. If he has come with peaceful intent, we will treat him well. If he has come with ill intent, we will kill him with his own sword." The apostle gave the word and he was let in. The apostle wrote and met him in the room, seized him round the girdle or by the middle of his cloak and dragged him along violently, saying, "What has brought you, son of Khattab? For by God, I do not think you will cease your persecution until God brings calamity upon you." Umar replied, "O apostle of God, I have come to you to believe in God and his apostle and what he has brought from God." The apostle gave thanks to God so loudly that the whole household knew that Umar had become a Muslim. The companion dispersed, having become confident when both Umar and Hamza have accepted Islam because they knew they would protect the apostle and that they would get justice from their enemies through them. This is the story of narrators among the people of Medina about Umar's Islam. Abdullah bin Abu Najid the Makkah from his companion Atla and Mujahid or other narrators said that Umar conversion, according to what he used to say himself, happens thus: I was far from Islam. So I want to tell one thing here. The story which we have read just now, the acceptance of Umar's sisters and brother-in-law, he came to that house, and the story which we have just now seen. That is one story of accepting the Islam of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha. There is one more story of accepting start of Islam of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anha, which we are reading now. So which one is true in the both stories? That is, in this book Ibn Hisham said they can be any Allah knows better which story is better, but the most acceptable will be the first one because the first story which we have just seen, that is the most acceptable among the scholars because that is proven from other books as well, other historical books also the same story is written over there. So that is also one more one story which is written in other books. So it is the most acceptable story which we have read just now, but there is one more story that we will reading now. So the story is like that. uh, Umar said upon himself that I was far from Islam. I was a wine bibber in the Heathen period, used to love it and rejoice in it. We used to have a meeting place in Al Hawzara at which Quraysh used to gather near the houses of the family of Umar bin Abdu bin Imra al Makhzumi. I went out one night making for my boon companions in that gathering, but when I got there, there was no one present. So I thought it would be a good thing if I went to so and so, the wine seller, who was selling wine in Makkah at that time, in the hope that I might get something to drink from him. But I could not find him either, so I thought it would be a good thing if I went around the Kaaba 7 or 70 times. So I came to mosque, meaning to go around the Kaaba, and there was the apostle standing praying. As he prayed, his face Syria. As he prayed, he faced Syria, putting the Kaaba. You think putting the Kaaba between himself and Syria. His stance was between the black stone and the southern corner. When I saw him, I thought it would be a good thing if I could listen to Muhammad so as to hear what he said. If I come near to listen to him, I should scare him. So I came from the direction of Hijr and got underneath its covering and began to walk gently. Meanwhile, the Prophet was standing in prayer reciting the Quran until I stood in his Qibla facing him, there being nothing between us but the covering of the Kaaba. When I heard the Quran, my heart was softened and I wept out. Salam entered into me. But I ceased not to stand in my place until the apostle had finished his prayer. Then he went away. When he went away, he used to go past the house of son of Abu Hussein, which was on his way, so that he crossed the path where the pilgrims run. Then he went between the house of Abbas and Ibn Azhar bin Abu Abdu or Abudu of Zuhri, then the house of Al Akhna bi Shariq until he entered his own house. His dwelling was in Al Dar al Rakhta, which was in the hand of Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan. I continued to follow him until when he got between the house of Abbas and Ibn Azhar, I overtook him. And when he heard my voice, he recognized me and supposed that I had followed him only to ill treat him. So he replied me, saying, "What has brought you at this hour?" I replied that I had come to believe in God and his apostle, and what he had brought from God. He gave thanks to God and said, "God has guided you." Then he rubbed my breast and prayed that I might be steadfast. Afterwards, I left him. He went into his house, but God knew what the truth was. Mm, God knew what the truth was. So here he's saying that two stories we have seen. God knows which is the correct story. But in the presence of scholar, the first story which we have seen, that is most acceptable because it's proven in some other historical books also. But irrespective of which story is correct, we did not go in detail in that one. So moving forward, Nafi Friedman of Abdullah bin Umar on the authority of Ibn Umar said, when the father Umar became a Muslim, he said, which of the Quraysh is best at spreading reports, and was told that it was Jamil bin Mamar al-Jamahi. So he went to him, and I followed after to see what he was doing. For although I was very young at that time, I understood everything I saw. He went to Jamil after accepting whichever the story is true, whether the first one or second one, after accepting the Islam, this happening, he gone to the house and asked his son, who is the most person who transferred the message from one person to another person in Makkah. So he gone to that person and said to him that I have accepted Islam. So he went to Jamil and asked him if he knew that he had become a Muslim and entered into Muhammad's religion. And by God, hardly had he spoken to him when he got up, dragging his cloak on the ground as Umar followed him, and I followed my father until he stood by the door of the mosque and cried at the top of his voice. While the Quraysh said were in the meeting places around the Kaaba, Umar had apostatized while Umar behind him shouted, "He is a liar, but I have become a Muslim, and I testify that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his servant and apostle." They got up to attack him and fighting him on between them until the sun stood over their head, and he became weary and sat down while they stood over him, as he said, "Do as you will, for I swear by God that if we were 300 men, we would have fought it out on equal terms." At this point, a sheikh of the Quraysh in a Yemeni robe and embroidered shirt came up and stopped and inquired what was the matter. So the hadith which we have seen previously, that one man came and protected Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, that this is the man which came in the Sirat also. So both are right. Okay, there's nothing the wrong. If I tell you the reference from Hadith or Quran, that would be 100% correct. But here that should be that is not in the context. But here it's correctly in the context. So you will get how step by step it's happening. Okay, that is not in the step by step in the Hadith. It's just given that one person have protected Hazrat Umar. So this is in the step by step. At this point, a sheikh of the Quraysh in a Yemeni robe and an embroidered shirt came up and stopped and inquired what was the matter. When he was told that Umar has apostatized, he said, "Why should not a man choose a religion for himself? And what are you trying to do? Do so God revealed concerning him the words Abu Lahab and his has got blessed." When Quraysh had agreed, sorry, I have gone in a different page. Why should not a man choose a religion for himself? And what are you trying to do? Do you think that Minadi will surrender their companion to you? Thus, let the man annul. By God, it was as though they were a garment stripped out of him. After my father had migrated to Medina, I asked him who the man was who drove away for the people on the day he became a Muslim. While they were fighting him, he said that my son was he said that my son was Wasal Asp Bilal Sahmi. Uh, Abdul Rahman bin Al Haris from one of the Umar clan or one of his family said that Umar said, "When I became a Muslim that night, I thought of the man who was the most violent in the enmity against the apostle, so that I might come and tell him that I had become a Muslim." And Abu Jahl came to my mind. Now Umar's mother was Hantama de Hisham bin al Mughira. So in the morning I knocked on his door and he came out and said, "The best of welcome, nephew. What has brought you?" I answered that I had come to tell him that I believed in God and his apostle Muhammad and regarded as true what he has brought. He slammed the door in my face and said, "God damn you and damn what you have brought." So this is the story of acceptance of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, irrespective of which story is correct, first or second. Mostly accepted is first one, but we did not go in detail. But irrespective of which one is true, when Hazrat Umar accepted the Islam, after him, he fought with the people of Makkah and he declared openly that I have accepted the Islam and fought with the people of Makkah and bring the Muslims openly to the outside of the house, and they have after that they have started praying namaz openly, and they have started spreading the message of peace openly to everyone. So this is the story of early days of the Islam, how the early days of Islam were. So after that, in the next video, we will see about the migration to Abyssinia, how the people have migrated and why they have migrated to Abyssinia. That we will try to see in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.